Welcome to the Intentional Queen Podcast Journey to Restoration with Jineen. Hey, boo, hey. I'm your host. I'm Jineen Huff. As a resilient strategist, an author, a mom, a coach, a transformational speaker, and award-winning nurse leader who has personally beat burnout twice and came back, I created this space just for you. The ambitious moms, the nurses, the nurse leaders, and high-achieving women in high-stress roles. Why? Because if you're ready to break free from burnout, reclaim your harmony in life, love, and leadership, and not to mention motherhood, you are in the right place. I want you to have resilience, and I want you to choose yourself more. My book called I Choose Me, The Intentional Guide to Never Losing Yourself Again, was the breakthrough point, and now you're here. In each episode, we explore mindset shifts, empowering truths, and real stories grounded in my signature Bloom framework, right? Because you got to grow to keep going, okay? It's all designed to help you rise without losing yourself. Thank you for pressing play, and let's get into today's conversation. Hey, boo, hey, we made it. You made it. It is 5 years. As I was sitting back watching the replay of these things, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 years. So one thing about me, guys, I am Coach Jineen. I am the host of Intentional Queen Podcast, Journey to Restoration with Jineen. We made 5 years. One thing you know about me is I like to document in real time. So October 20th, of 2020 is when I put the first episode together and I posted it. And now here we are, October 20th, 2025. And we're here. You're here. So you're going to be watching this on the replay because today is a big day, even for that, because I'm also doing the Coming to Me Masterclass. So I'm like, how can I do both? I can't be in both places. So I wanted to make sure I commemorated this moment. You'll see down at the ticker what I need you to do for me, because I always have a call to action. And I'm just so grateful that you're here and you're watching. I want you to put the word celebration down in the comments, okay? Because around here, we celebrate our little wins, no matter what size, but we be clapping for ourselves. We'll be clapping for each other. So if you drop that down in the comment, I just know that you are supporting me. So make sure you just go ahead and do that. And then share it with the queen or king, because we got men in the room too. But just share with someone so they can see the growth of what it means when you show up for yourself and then you show up for others. So before we even get deeper, I got to put my glasses on, because when I put my glasses on, I mean business. And so let's just talk about some things. I've missed you. You're going to be seeing so much going on with the podcast. It was birthed, like I said, from a place of me wanting to help people no longer suffer in silence, for me wanting to make sure that people knew that they're not alone, and wanting people to feel like they're enough in every season, that they can show up and be their best selves and shine and bloom, because in certain spaces they felt like they could not. They always had to dim their light to make others feel comfortable. And this is the space where we're not doing that. This is the space where people found me like a speakeasy, and it birthed, as you saw in my speaker reel, it birthed I Choose Me, The Intentional Guide to Never Losing Yourself Again. The anniversary of the 1-year anniversary of that was February 14th of 2020. Wow, we were in 25. So in 2024, I birthed that. Wow. So as I look, I'm getting ready to come up on my 2nd year of this, but we sold hundreds of copies of this book. I'm so grateful. This is a testimonial, but this is more of a guide. People said, well, is this your life? It's not really my life. It is the stories that I've compounded. It has been the resilience put on paper. It's a guide. It's led to my I Choose Me bootcamp that has been able to help women as well to bloom, right? In my I Choose Me bootcamp, we go from burnout to harmony. So they learn how to rebuild confidence. They learned how to have their own personalized roadmap to harmony, because we were all in burnout. That's what I really learned through this process, is that I didn't have the words to know that I was tired. And I was tired of being the strong friend. And I was tired of running on E, and I got sick. So like my story of hitting that brick wall of health problems, losing a baby, being a nurse for over 20 years, being a top rated nurse anesthesiologist, like I could go on. Those accolades mean nothing to me, because I used to let my titles become my idols. And when I got sick and when things crumbled for me in the foundation and people said, oh, you speak with so much grit, is because like I lived it. Like I look at myself now, I'm looking 5 years, but I mean, I look back at those times. One of those was a picture from a video from my first podcast anniversary. So shouting out all my speakers, shouting out all my guests. Like, we've had over 100 episodes. We've had over 20,000 downloads. Like, I couldn't even do it without you. I want you guys to check out my YouTube page, Jineen Huff TV. You will see our first podcast anniversary. You will see the Hot Healing Girl Summit. That was so good. And you will also see there's a video I did compilating all of the podcast reviews that I had. I think that was like year 2 or year 3 that I celebrated it that way, because I want people to know, yes, you hear me speaking, but there's so many people that was like me that I didn't even know I was the one who had to be the first domino. And being the first domino is so hard. And vulnerability is so hard. So the reason why this is called Coming Back to Me is because I want you to say that for yourself. You're coming back to yourself, but we got to speak positive, sexy talk. We have to speak to ourselves like someone we love. And whenever you're in my space, that's what we're going to do. And I want to see you blooming. I want to see you rising. And bloom comes from my signature framework, but we'll get all into that. I'm not trying to be Coach Jineen really today. This is a celebratory thing because I couldn't do it without you. You have to look around and look at your circle and say, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. And when I really started looking at what rooms am I in, what changes have I made, like each year, I give myself a word of the year as a compass. And if you've been in this space long enough, you know. Now, this year is called refinement. So that's why it's the power of refinement. So, I always got to give things titles, okay? And I need my glasses and I got my pen. So we got notes, okay? So get your notepad, get your paper, get your water. And I want you to rock out with me. This is actually a live podcast recording. Now, people who know, I never used to do live podcasts. So you are actually watching me. And when you hear this, if you are listening from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever, I want you to go over to our YouTube channel at Jineen Huff TV, and I want you to put the word celebration in the comments, and I want you to share it. Like, this is something that's bigger than me. And I learned that if I don't show up or say these things, it's not going to impact the people that it's supposed to. And this is what I want you to know. Like, it starts from you showing up for yourself. And you can look at me, but you can also look at all the people I've been able to impact, because now they're doing big things. You can even look at our queen stories. You can look at Pauline. You can look at Tia. You can look at Dr. Neve. You can look at Brittany. Like, there's just so many women that have been impacted from this space. And this is for a woman who thinks that her worth is not enough, or what she brings to the table is not enough. Boo boo, it is. Okay. Hey boo, hey. So let's get into this. It's not going to be too long because I got things to do, because I got to get ready for the Coming to Me masterclass. Okay. If you're not there, you square, but that's okay. It's going to be good. I'll probably be doing it again because it's very, very important, but I wanted to commemorate this 5 years. So let's start off with, this is full circle for me. As I was praying about this, like I said, 5 years ago today, I hit record. I was sitting in my car. It was muffled. I sounded sad. I didn't want to do it. I come from a private space and I was like, nah, I'm just not going to do this. And I'm going to shout out my friend LaTorsha. My book partially was dedicated to her, but it was also dedicated to the tribe and my son and that version of me that I let go. And she helped me to cultivate this space. And when I recognized that God wanted me to show up, because I want to give you backstory to how I got here. Intentional Queen podcast. So intentional is one of my words that I stand on, because we do things from positive intentions, hopefully. And Travis Green's song Intentional played when I was going through my miscarriage. And that is what a friend sent me. So it kind of like really like helped me. And if you know the song, then you should go listen to the song. But that is how Intentional came. And Queen came from Queen Esther, shouting out Lamb Lamb. So I saw in my area, you can go to see like Bible stories on like play or theater, and Queen Esther was playing. And there is a scripture talking about sometimes the crown chooses you. And a lot of times when I was struggling to put this podcast out, Lamb Lamb was like, the crown chose you. But people don't understand, the crown is heavy. Now we're going to shout out Tamika Lyons. She had me come speak in December, because this has led to so many things. My book, my coaching program, me being in articles, like it turned into a whole phase that I didn't even know would exist. It even allowed me to take a sabbatical from nurse anesthesia and be me and pause for over a year. Like this here is a movement. You inside a movement. You watching a movement. I want somebody to know because I'm documenting in real time. Because when I document in real time, I go back and I look because sometimes you got to look back. Now, I ain't want to make this a whole little prayer session, but I feel like when it need to be said, people know I'm going to give you the word that needs to be coming through. And so, yeah, Tamika had me come on there and she said, I need you to talk about Queen Esther. I was like, well, I could talk about Ruth. She's like, nah, you're going to talk about Queen Esther. And then, so all I'm saying is, that's how Queen became the title of the podcast. What was the mission I was trying to have? I was trying to come back to myself and have restoration. That's why this called Coming Back to Me. That's why my masterclass is called Coming Back to Me. You see that full circle moment of whenever I do things with intentionality. And I want you to have a core word or values. Any business, anything that you go to, you see mission statements, core values, all that. You need to have that for yourself. Because once I started having that helped with healthy boundaries and teaching people how to treat me and all the things that I talk about in the book, because the book is broken down. Because y'all see up in the corner, it's a butterfly. And so it stages to that thing. So in the first stage, I talk about caterpillar. Then I talk about it's a little lonely in the middle when you're doing cocoon work. It's just you. It's just you. You're going to have to purge what no longer serves you. You're going to have to do the mindset work. It's going to be a lot in there. And then you fly out like a butterfly where you start tapping into your soft woman season. Like it's a playbook. And some people just go back in just to pick up parts of the chapters because people say, well, how is the book? I'm grateful because the book has sold hundreds of copies. And I've had people do a virtual book tour with me. And so that's why I said, shout out to my speakers. You've been hearing their episodes come. I am refining this podcast. You're going to see a new podcast cover come out. You're hearing the audio change. Like we're changing. So this brings me into the 5 words, right? So each year I have a word of the year. And let's take it back. So the first one was pivot towards peace. And I stood on pivot towards peace because I'm trying to tell you, ain't nothing like a piece of peace. So each year, this podcast evolved into something new. So you were watching this in real time. So the first year that I did it, I was pivoting towards peace. That's why you should watch that podcast anniversary. It is on our YouTube. I did release it. It was an event. And then I went on and released it for my whole channel to see. So definitely check that out. Then we talked about evolve. And I wanted to evolve. This talks about the stages of the butterfly. And I wanted to evolve. I was in a space of, I finally found peace, but I wanted to evolve into the best version of myself. If y'all don't know my taglines, level up your intentional queen to a better you. And I always say level up your IQ, but your IQ is your mind. I got thoughts. Anyway, like I said, I wanted to evolve. And so that whole year I evolved into something different. I was purging what no longer serves me. And then I started hitting burnout and I got injured. I was sick. I was out. It was like a whole thing. I hit like a whole nother stage of burnout. It was crazy. So guess what the next word was? Balance. And I had to learn that balance does not necessarily mean that it's going to be 50-50. I was divorced. Like it was so many life events that happened. And this is what people think. Like you can't stay in a woe is me caterpillar for too long. Once again, to the book, we got to go into the second stage. And when you go to the second stage, it's like purge what no longer serves you. Figure out the remnants that's left. Find balance. But I really learned I needed to find harmony. If you're the strong friend, you're carrying all these balls in the air and you're trying to do everything and your titles and idols and do all the things. And I just got to a point. I just had to drop some. It was just too heavy. And so I got to a point that I learned that sometimes I'm going to have to put some balls down to focus on others, which talks about the wheel of life. And so for me, in that season of balance, I was in physical therapy, learning how to rework my hand and my whole left arm. I was learning how to get my blood pressure down, getting my thyroid back together. Like I'm looking back at pictures of me and I could just see how stressed I was. I went and had my doctor's visit, checkup, in the summer, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I am just taking care of me. Like I'm just like being me. And they're like, your blood pressure is down, you've reversed these problems, your health looks good, your weight looks good, like you look good, you look refreshed, your skin look like. And I started to say, wow, when I put some balls down and I started focusing on what pillar of my life needed me, it was so much better. because we're on the journey to restoration. So we come in full circle. You know, I speak in parables. So then after I found balance, right? Because we had peace, then we had to evolve out of the caterpillar, right? And then we had to find some balance because it wasn't looking right. And then I got into expansion. And during expansion, so I will let you know this. Before the book, I didn't want to write it. And I got myself in some seats. And the seats that I got in was coaching. I got me a book coach. I had got me a messaging coach. I started reaching out to other people. I started going into other women empowerment spaces. I started sharing my voice. The podcast was always running in the background, but I mean, I really started evolving, finding balance. And then I knew I had to do the book. And the book was hard for me because it meant I had to go into places and spaces that I really didn't want to mentally go. And when you're the strong friend and you're carrying all the weight, that's not something you really want to do. Like, it's a sad place. You're like, I don't really want to reside there. And so I really had to pray what's supposed to be in a book, why I need to put this book out. So I told God I ain't got time. And he said, yeah, you're going to have time when I put you out with that arm. You got time. So I dictated this book now. No. Like, dictated the book, put it out. We put it in February. Seeds of Greatness is in February. And we prayed over those books. And I said, God, listen, let it be what it's going to be. And then y'all bless me by showing up for me. I mean, I had one person put it on the LinkedIn and it got me 60 books in 2 days. Like, when I tell you, God tell you do something, you just got to show up. And so don't make excuses is where I'm going with that. I had excuses. I can't, my arm, I can't type. Yeah, you could do it. And my coach didn't allow me to not. She said, well, if you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. So I say this to say that it all started at the podcast, but each year the word showed me what the alignment was for the year. And so when I went through pivoting towards peace to we're going to evolve to we're going to find some balance or some type of harmony with putting the balls down or up, and then we started expanding. But let me tell you about expansion. When you start expanding, you got to purge some things that don't serve you. And so then I went to a season of refinement. So now we're here. And that meant I had to take a sabbatical. That meant that I was going into more women empowerment spaces and speaking at women's conferences, doing resilience training, birthing I Choose Me boot camp, doing master classes. Like, if you really know, like, this has been my year of refining this podcast because it's growing. You've been growing with me. So I'm showing you at each stage, we growing. And I want you to remember, baby steps lead to giant leaps. That's the way. And we celebrate our wins. Like this space you see me right now, you would have never seen that like 5 years ago. But we do got to document in real time. We do have to make memories. Like I said, I had a lot of loss, but I'm not letting that loss stop me from making it to my next level. And remember what I told you about backpack. Backpack is door to explore. You carrying all that weight. This is what I mean by take some of them balls out. Okay. Take some of them bricks out because it's heavy. And it's weighing you down and slowing you down. And I got to a point that I had to look at my circle. I had to understand that my pruning was for my best. You can hear at the end of my speaker reel, what I had to learn is everything is happening for me, not to me. And when I got to a space of appreciation of it's good enough, and not really I'm good enough, because that was a lesson too, but like it's good enough. Because see, I got overachievers and perfectionists that's in this space with me. And they know that we try to do things to the umpteenth level. And when you do that, you don't become vulnerable, you don't show up, you don't be you don't let people see who you really are. And that's a very lonely space. And when I learned that I could take the mask off and just be Jineen, and that was enough. It was good enough. I started finding my real people. Like I started finding my real, they found me. And I'm grateful for that because this has grown to global. We in Africa, we in the Caribbean, like we're in Australia. Like when I started really doing the research, I'm like, okay, God, these baby steps is leading to giant leaps. And so I see that for a queen, that I want you to know that the journey is never a destination, but we just showing up when we can. So each word for me meant something. And it's something about the number 5. Like I was sitting here praying about what I was going to say. Normally I got all this scripted stuff, but I was like, God, I'm just going to let you can't control and trust. Y'all know how I feel about that. You cannot control and trust at the same time. Like, you can't control how the outcome is going to be. I just know that this message, this podcast live, this celebration, me commemorating 5, something about 5, it means something because we eating. I'm learning some new things from kids. I just really know that it means grace, coming together, refinement, like everything that I've kind of done is surreal. And I'm so proud of who I've grown into, because I told you, back to Queen Esther, the crown is heavy, but it chose you. I got to a point I accepted it chose me, and it's going to attract things that are good. It's going to attract some things that's bad, but it doesn't stop me from being Jineen at the end of the day. And I want you to know that. As I was thinking here, because I always got more thoughts, is Bloom is my signature framework. But when I was sitting here, I want to talk about coming back to me with the power of refinement. And so I broke down power into 5 acronyms because it's not going to be too long and I want you to really catch this. So power is going to mean permission, ownership, worth, evolution, resilience. Once again, power, permission, ownership, worth, evolution, resilience. So when I thought about what coming back to me means, what 5 years of Intentional Queen podcast means, what is this really looking like? Because you do have to vision cast, right? Hubukak 2, 2, and 2, 3. If you don't make the vision, make it plain. Like I'm serious about that. Like, when people say, and shouting out Sheena here, she said, Neen, when you make them words up, you stand on them words. I stand on them words. Thank you, Sheena. Oh, I just had a moment. I was thinking about I've been going to some past events and catching up with past people, but I want to kind of dedicate this to Miss Elo. I didn't know she was listening, but I want her to know that I see her and that I'm praying for her, and that life is not guaranteed and you have to reach out to the strong people. She a strong person. She doesn't ask to be celebrated. And life is life in her right now. And I am grateful that this space has allowed people to see power within themselves, because she said to me, where that podcast at? You ain't really been up there. I listened to it. And I just didn't know, by me sharing and showing up, that it was helping people to this extent to keep going. So power for me, when I say permission, is the space gives people permission to pause, to pivot, to evolve, to have balance or harmony, to stand on business 10 toes down, to like be them. That's what it gives you permission to do. That's the P. And O means ownership. When you own it, you wear it well. When you own your power, when you stand on business, when you stand on you matter, because people will play and tap dance in your face. Okay. There's a difference between people who pray for you and who pray on you. Okay. And when I started understanding, owning my story, knowing what uh roles or positions I played in things, because this motion right here, don't forget how many pointing back at you. So I don't do a lot of blaming no more. I just be assessing, God, what you want me to know in this? What did I need to learn? What I'm supposed to take out of this? And so that ownership with your power, when you coming back to you, is you take your power back. Power that mouth. You know what I mean? Because people used to come for me and I was quick. Like, what you say? Excuse me? And God taught me, like, you don't gotta come back for everybody that's coming for you. Because guess what? If you doing your trajectory, it don't really matter what they say. And what I tell you, they came for the ones with the sticks, but they couldn't come for the ones with the bricks. That's 3 little pigs. Like, they came for the one with the sticks, but they couldn't come for the one with the bricks. So when you own your story, because that's also the O that's inside of the Bloom framework. But like, when you doing those things, it really doesn't matter, because you get power to be you. So you got permission, you got ownership, and then your worth. So remember the podcast, the 3 pillars I really talked about with restoration was self-love, self-healing, and growth mindset. And a lot of that dealt with worth. Also some self-care in there, but worth, because worth is not really discussed. And people think when you say you don't love yourself, it's like, you really don't care about yourself. I think it comes from that space of you so focused on other people that you forget about you. And it's common. It's common as a woman, it's common as a strong friend, it's common as a wife, especially as a mother. Like me being a nurse over 25 years, yes, I'm saying that out loud, but it wasn't that I thought I didn't have no worth because I knew who I was, but I didn't think that I was as important. I would just take the remnants of what was left. And that wasn't enough. My body was telling me it's not enough. It's not enough. And I had to learn to give from my overflow, not from my cup, because see, I just always been that type that I just go, go, go. And I've learned that there's power in saying no. There is boundaries and gates and walls, and people be tap dancing in your face, but you have to teach people how to treat you. And that's when the worth comes in because people can feel it. But it starts with the baby steps. It starts with the courageousness. It starts with then you build up vulnerability to courage, to confidence, to you out here being a butterfly. Like it's a thing. And when people know you don't play with your time, you don't play with games, they start to look at you a little different. And you're going to recognize who supports you by who doesn't. Because when you stand on your boundaries, people gonna be offended. You're gonna hear words like, "Oh, you just so different now." Oh, they hit you with everything under the kitchen sink, and you have to be like, "Okay, but this is the boundary." And I was recently shouting out Jenny Steele. That was my second international podcast. I did one with Dale, and she's a nursing podcast because I've been all over the place. Like I said, this baby step has led me to giant leaps. But I was speaking on a nursing podcast related to burnout, and that was out of the Caribbean. But this, I was speaking with Jenny Steele, shouting her out. That was my first UK podcast episode that I did. And she was just talking to me about resilience, about worth, and about sometimes we don't have them boundaries and teaching people how to treat us and putting on our do not disturb. And like we were just really going in. And I think it's a great episode. So you definitely should check that out. The evolution. That's the E, right? So we got permission, ownership, and worth. Because see, we know our worth, right? Your self-worth always 100, whether you're winning or learning. So let's move on to E, evolution. When I chose the word evolve, I think on year 3 or year 2, like I said, I wanted to be my best version of myself. Sometimes you have to be stripped of old thought patterns, of what you've seen, who you around, your lifestyle. Like it just changed, you evolve. And if you're really not growing, what are you doing? You're stagnant. And some people are comfortable being right where they are. And to them, okay, stay at the campsite. But when you know it's something on your life, you have to evolve into that space. And that's how positive sexy talk came in. Like, I want to evolve. I want to be better. That's why my tagline is called level up your intentional queen to a better you. Like when you want to be better, it spills over into your relationships. It spills over in motherhood. It spills over into romantic things. Like it spills over into business opportunities. Like people see you. Like I didn't recognize people was seeing me. Okay. Seeing me. I said, oh. And see, I'm one that like to be behind the scenes, and here they gave me top nurse on my state. And like, it was so many things. I'm like, oh, but you never know if you don't speak on it, if you don't stand on it. Right. So it's the evolution of you that's helping other people. And so what is your mission? Coming back to me, right? So coming back to you. And then the R, resilience. As I was sitting here, when I was figuring out how to refine this podcast and where we're going, really what I found out is I speak on resilience and I speak on burnout/harmony. Those are the two things that I know are part of my mission and my why to build legacy and to help people no longer suffer in silence. People ask me, how did I find this? Sometimes it find you in your darkest hours. Now, back to what I told you at the beginning of this episode. I was sitting in my car doing through a phone, like a voice note, to do the intro in the first one, which was meekness in the storm. And I was talking about humility, and I was talking about all the things I was going through. And then when you have a podcast, you don't really see people. They tune in, like they intentionally go find you, go hit play. They tune it in. People was listening to it before work. Women was calling me in their top 5 because their life was lifing them, and I was helping them to evolve and gain power, right? So permission, ownership, worth, evolution, and resilience. This is why 5 years means something. I even wanted it to be 5 letters. Like, listen, I had thoughts today. So that's what I want to leave you with as we talk about the full circle of coming back to me, as we talk about October 20th, 2025, but how it started at October 2020. So let's talk a little bit about refinement. Refinement to me, as I sat there and figured out why that was my word of the year, and I'm gonna give y'all a little teaser. My next word is going to be execution for 2026. I'll let you know. But 2026, it's gonna be execution because now we refine the thing, we get ready to shoot the shot. And when you know what you're doing, you get in preparation. And so refinement to me was refining different things in my life, refining my career, refining my body, refining this space. What does it look like? Looking at my 8 pillars of life. So that means health, finances, romantic, like there's 8 pillars of your life, personal development, all those things, refining what needs to be done, pruning, doing, if you will, spring cleaning or whatever you want to call it, and saying what's left, what do I want to build on, what I want to change, how it look, what we doing, and so many new things that I realized about myself in this sabbatical. Like there were so many things. I remember people was like, how could you do that? It's like I planned for that pivot. I put power on that thing, right? So when you get to a space in life about refinement, you need to understand it's not going to be easy. And a lot of people not going to understand you. And it's really not about them. This is the lesson. You learn about you. When you learn how to level up your intentional queen to a better you, you learn about you. You learn about what matters to you. And I don't mean in a selfish way. That's why it's called I Choose Me, the intentional guide to never losing yourself again. I lost myself. She was out there lost because she was all consumed in being there for everybody else, being a strong friend, being the best nurse, being the this, the being the that. And I'm like, nah, I'm just Jineen. You know, people try to hit me with the titles. You know, I was speaking at a women's conference down in Richmond, Virginia in June, and she started running my whole receipts, and everybody's like, and I was like, no, we don't let them titles be our idols no more. I'm just Jineen. Because when people see me for me, then you recognize if you prayed on or you prayed on. And I really got to a point that I really love that I recognize that being me is enough, and refinement is going to cause some changes, but it's also going to have some ripples when you be the domino. And so you have to look at the two-edged sword or the double side of the coin, and that refinement is not always a bad thing. It's a good thing. And when you come out the fire, when you come out the fire, he's got all the remnants off of you, or that residue. So I feel residue coming off is where I'm saying with that. Like, that's my feeling. People say, where are you going? Like, I don't even know. I just know execution is next. And we refined this thing, and you've seen it, and I want you to be a part of it. So make sure you check out the new trailer. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure, like you said down in the ticker, comment, celebration, share this with someone. Like, this is bigger than me. And I think I'm going to put it here live, but I would love to empower 1 million people. That's huge, but it's a God goal. And I'm going to say it here. I think that's where I'm going. Like, I'm here to impact 1 million lives. And I'm doing a really good job so far with the grace of God. And I'm just going to keep pushing. That's what she's going to do. She's just going to keep going. So help me get there. Okay. And so let's go ahead and shut it down, because this was like a really good celebration, and I got to get ready for the Coming to Me masterclass. I want to just like thank you. Like, I want to like genuinely thank you. And I want you to clap for yourself, because if you've really been a part of this with me, like, you've grown. You can put your lesson down below. You can do a review, like whatever you feel, but just let me know, because I can't see you, but you can see me, girl. And so let me know. Like, what is it? What was like one of your top lessons? Like, what was one of your best episodes? Like, let me know. And I want you to get your notepad ready and get ready for, as we can go into execution. I want you to know, like, you're gonna be riding and dying with me. Let's go. And we're over 100 episodes. And I just want you to keep being a part of it. So make sure that you are helping me to impact these 1 million lives to never suffer in silence again. Sharing my book. I couldn't believe when I was reading the reviews of my book, we're over 35 5-star book reviews. Like, these are things that matter, not just to me, but like, it shows the impact of what I'm doing. And this is why I want people to really understand that your impact matters. But we have to share. We have to start. We have to show up. And you showing up for me means you downloaded, right? You've listened, you've shared. That's you showing up for you. But in essence, it showed that my impact is helping you to get you to be the best version of yourself. And I never want people to look at me and say, oh, I want to be like her. I want them to say, oh, I want to be the best version of my own self. There's only one Jineen. And so there is only one you. And you are enough where you are. And I want you to give yourself grace at wherever you are in life, love, leadership, motherhood, resilience, burnout. And if you burnt out, honey, come hang out with us. You know, we have the Mindset Mondays. That's my email list. We have the Boom Telegram group. We have the I Choose Me boot camp. Like there are so many different things that have expanded from just this one space. But I would love to know your lessons. I would love, you can even DM me on our social media at Intentional Queen Journey or at Jineen or Huff TV. Like there are so many ways that I would just love to connect with you to make sure that you are good, but what you learning, what is good, so we can share it with other people to know what was impactful. Okay. And so what do I have coming up? People ask me, what you going to be doing? So, you know, I have the Coming Back to Me Masterclass. And we also have the I Choose Me Bootcamp that's still continuing to go. What else do we have? We have the podcast Evolving. We're doing a lot of resilience training. I'm going back in the nursing space. I have really been called into that space. So if you are a nurse, reach out to me. I have been doing workshops. I've been doing trainings. I'm really trying to go back for the women who need it. We got men in the background, so if you need it, then hey, hang out. But I'm just going for the people. They said, how do I know who I was going for? I'm going back for the people who was like me. And so I know who I was back then, so I'm going back for you. And in order to do that, you have to have some type of baton to give. So the podcast was the first baton. The book is another. The I Choose Me Bootcamp is another. Like there's so many different things. So if you're a nurse, I'm shouting you out. Make sure you hang out with me because it's getting ready to be some of that coming for you. And I am doing speaking events. As I said, I'm a speaker. I've been doing a lot of different things. And I'm really out of space right now where I'm in an and situation. And this is going to free someone as I close this out. Being an and means you're not a or, a this or that. We used to be in spaces where I'm just a this and I'm just a that. And what I learned is I'm everything, right? That's the will of life. So I'm a mom. I'm assumed to be another wife. Like these things I'm speaking over my life. You understand? I'm an and. I'm a nursing anesthesiologist and you know what I mean? I'm a speaker and I'm an author, right? Those are titles that I'm speaking out. And I'm not saying to let them be idols, but I used to try to just pigeonhole myself in a box and I recognize I'm not. And that's what caused me so much distress because God had to show me you're an and you can function in any space that I put you in. And a lot of times we don't like to go through the struggle because who wants to hurt? But if we don't have those things, we will not be able to show up for people and give them the blueprint. So to someone, you the blueprint. And I'm just going through. I have students that have spoken on my resilience inside of my playlist that's on my Jineen or Huff TV. So you can check that out. Like, I mean, resilience is something that I recognize is important. And that's where we going. But we executing on so many different levels that I just want you to be a part of it. Make sure, like I said, there's so many different things. Join our email list. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a line down in the chat. Let me know. If you're a private person like I was, I understand if you don't want to comment publicly, but you can always DM me. Like I said, I have a whole, and I might put the top on the YouTube channel. I may put it as the top. Ooh, girl, get your words. Put it as the pinned comment that I can put what I had with some past testimonials from my DMs, just so you can kind of see, because you have to see yourself too. And I'm just grateful. So we're not going to make this be too long. Remember, we talked about the 5 words of the year that I've done over this time. So start thinking about yours and start preparing for 2026. Okay. You know, now the power framework, that's permission, that's ownership, that's worth, that's evolution, that's resilience. We talked about what resilience means to me. We also talked about what refinement means for this year and where we're going with the podcast and all the changes that you'll start seeing. I told you a little bit about where I'm going, but I really don't know because I can't control and trust at the same time. So God working this out. So I'm just making baby steps that's leading to giant leaps. I told you about the reviews, the sharing, all those things. And this is me saying, for anyone that's listening, you're not behind. You're right where you need to be. And just keep showing up for you. And it starts with choosing you, but it also starts with coming back to yourself. And it could be a slow walk. Don't never let anybody rush you to where you're not ready to go. But you do got to make a baby step, because baby steps lead to giant leaps. And we're in this year of refinement, and I want to just see you be the best version of yourself. So we're going to close this out, call and level up your intentional queen to a better you. We're going to say, as I always, see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. And we made it 5 years. Shout out to all my guests, all my listeners, and I'm appreciative. And now it's time to get ready for the masterclass. See you on the flip side. Bye-bye. I want to thank you, Queen, for investing your time in yourself and in your journey to restoration with me as your host. You know why? Because I hope today's conversation has left you feeling inspired and better equipped for this week ahead with harmony and resilience. Because remember what I tell you, when you are good, they are good. New episodes air every other Thursday. So be sure to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss a moment. And if you're really feeling us, I want you to leave us a review so you can help us with our mission to grow and reach more women globally, because we are doing big things and you are a part of this community, and I want us all to grow. The conversation doesn't even have to stop here, because you my girl and I want you to hang around. So you can connect with us at our Supportive Bloom community and get resources and exclusive updates when you go to our website at www.intentionalqueenjourney.com. Once again, www.intentionalqueenjourney.com, and you will get our community. You will get the positive, free, sexy talk checklist that you need, and you can just join the email list. So do that today. And you can also find us on our social media pages at Instagram at Intentional Queen Journey, or definitely go over and check out our YouTube channel at Jineen R Huff TV, where there's over 500 videos of binge-worthy content just for you. And finally, if you found this value in this podcast, please share it with a queen in your life, and consider, like I said, leaving a review. Your support helps this message reach more women who are ready to reclaim their power and bloom in confidence, love, leadership. So until next time, keep blooming, level up your intentional queen to a better you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.